Now then, crew, and welcome back to the Andy Mechanic YouTube channel. This being episode 4 of the big engine stand build. And hopefully it's going to be the last episode, to be honest. It'd be great to get this project finished. It's been sort of dragging on a while, to be honest. So, next job, I've got to weld in this nut retention piece that we stole from a different project into this U-shape, and then that's all done. As regards, I redid the list. This is what we've got. There you go, look. And that should be project finished. So, quick read through. Casters and brackets. That's the brackets to mount the casters, fit the casters. Vertical box adjustment. We've done that. Once this is welded, that's finished as far as I'm concerned. Timber deck to go on, that's easy. Locking mechanism for the disc, that's easy. Final mounts for the engine, basically the mounts that go between the rotating plate and the engine. Some handles to push it around. Vertical box top cover, it needs a little cover over the box sections, just tidy it up. Blank off all the box ends, so that's easy, just some 3mm plate, cut that up, tack it in, weld it in, job done. Clean up and paint, that's Mrs. Mechanic, that's not me. And then the final assembly, which you may not even see on this video. I don't know, we'll see how things pan out. No, you will. I'll make sure you see the final assembly, right, and it finished and the engine fitted to it, because I want to see how much that engine sags just as much as you do. Yes. Okay, right, let me crack on. I've got to get this welded up, get it put back in, and then we'll, I don't know, choose something else on the list. Used.
You don't paint something without warping.
Honestly. Casters and caster mounts. Okay, let's take a quick look and work out some measurements, because we need to know that to get this thing level. Right, said Fred, I've done some quick measurements, and the large caster, which is that one, yes, it's huge, is 175mm from the base of the wheel to the top plate here. Believe me, that's what it is. And the small casters, exactly the same. Wheel, the top plate, 125. So we've got a 50mm variance, and we already instigated a difference in height between the leg and the rear box section by 25mm. Remember, we set the leg further down, so we've already gained 25mm there. Here, sorry. So we only need to gain another 25mm, and then this wheel, the base of the wheel, will be in alignment with the base of that wheel. So this bracket has to be stepped by 25mm, and this bracket needs to be 25mm less than whatever this one ends up being. So I think we'll make that one first, which will be just a standard steel plate, and then whatever the steel plate thickness is, this one needs to be 25mm more for it all to level out. It's pretty simple when you make a drawing, isn't it? Okay, to start off with, we're going to need 2 steel plates of different sizes, so 4 in total, 2 of this size, whatever that is, and then, ironically, the smaller wheels have got the larger plates, 2 mounting plates of that size. Okay, I'm going to crack on, and I've got some nice new 6mm steel plate down the bench. We'll use that, that'll be fine for the caster mounts. And I'll get things measured up and start cutting. Okie dokie, the big wheels, we've got 95 by 75. Okay. 95 by 75, and we need 2 of those, obviously. Okay, now, what are these ones like? Much bigger. These want to be 130 by 100. Oh my word, get rid of that. Okay. 130 by 100, and we need 2 of those. Once we've got them cut, I'll then work out where the holes need to be. I'm pretty sure we can use that just as a template and just drill straight through. It'll be a lot easier. Right, we need 230. So, can we get them all? I want to try and keep my sheet as big as I can. It's always good to cut wisely. So we've got basically 400. No, we haven't got 400 across there. So we'll have to do the 95s. Yes, okay, so we need 132. So 130 by 100, 130 by 100. And then we need to do 75 by 95, 75 by 95. Okay, so we need to go across. We will use that as our accurate side, and that is our accurate side. So 130 first of all. Right, said Fred. Oh, that's blunt. Jeez. There we go. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll do, that's 130 up there, we'll do 100. And we're going to allow a couple of mil for the thickness of the cutting disc. I'm going to mark it all up at once just so it's out of the way. So that one can be exactly 100. Oh, jeez! Don't do that. Okay. And then this one will need to be a fraction more because you've got to allow for the thickness of the cut, which is about 1.5 mil to be fair. But if we do it 2 mil, we'll be alright, won't we? Which is there. No harm in it being a fraction bigger, but a fraction smaller is not ideal. Jeez. There we go. So that one is 100 wide, and this one's marked out at about 101 actually. So I'll have to be right. Okay, next one. We need to do, we've only got 170 left, so we need to do 75s up here. So there's 75, so that allows us to say about 76.5. About that. Okie dokie. Score that one. And then another one at 76.5 approximately. This is only approximate. No, normally if I was really accurate, I'd cut one, measure the next, cut the next. But hey, we haven't got time for that today. Right, that'll work. We can come up with a mil or two tolerance, to be fair, on this job. As much as it grates my bones, because I like to be accurate. Okay, so now 95 up. And this can be 95. can't use the square off this side because we don't know if it's parallel. So we'll just go with that. Okay, so we've got, this is what we're going to end up with, a 130 by 100, a 130 by 100, and a 95 by 75. Cool. Right, time to do some cutting. Woohoo! Right, so let me get these 4 cleaned up, get all the sharp edges and the burrs and stuff, and then we'll get them marked up and drilled. Woohoo! Now we could spend a few minutes measuring all this up and then, you know, working out exactly where the holes need to be, and then transposing that across to the said steel plate. However, errors can be made, and your micrometer is actually pretty damn good at this kind of stuff. So what we'll do, we will just line up the pulley on top of the steel on an appropriate corner of the workbench so we can clamp the whole thing together so it doesn't move. There we go. And then, and I know some people are going to go, Andy, really? But you know, it sort of works. So now all we need to do is score in there where the holes are. If this was just a plain hole, I would stick the drill straight in, but it isn't, unfortunately, on this particular one. And I want the holes to be as far to the edge as possible because we're going over the box section, obviously, on the rear, and it's not ideal. There's not a lot of space for the nut. I think M8s will be fine for this. So I'm just going to score all of these, and the scriber's got a really good 90 degree for this kind of thing. We've only got to score one, don't forget, and then we can just drill through both. So there we go. That's the 4 marked. So now we can get our little square, engineer's square. And with our micrometer, I'm going to use 8mm bolts. I reckon somewhere around about there is going to be fine. Score that across. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? I reckon that'll work. And we'll do the same with that one, about there. And then all we need to do, again with our micrometer, is centre punch along that line and in the middle. And humans are extremely good at working out the centre of something, so it should be pretty easy. Where's my centre punch? Okie dokie. Right, prepare yourself because it's going to be a little bit bouncy. If we do it there, there's a stay under the bench, so that shouldn't be too bad. So on the line, my helmet's hitting the camera, and in the middle there, look. Remember, a little punch first. I'm going to take my helmet off. My face mask is getting in the way. Okay, little punch first. How does that look? Looks slightly towards you on the line, so we'll just come back in. Move it back a little bit. There we go, looking a lot better there. Yes, I'll go with that. We'll have one there. Looks pretty good to me. Spin it around. Now, of course, there'll be some inaccuracies, but this doesn't need to be super accurate. It just needs to work, right? Okay, so I will drill that about a 4mm, clean off the burrs, stick the other plate on, clamp them together, drill, 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 through with 4 again, and then we'll drill all of those with 8mm, 8mm drill bit. And I need to do exactly the same thing now with the larger plates and the other wheels. So, grab one of those. Now, these, oh, somebody's been in, look. They've obviously marked the holes in the wrong place, and they've been in with a drill bit to hollow them out on those two. So, these are second-hand. You wouldn't find that with new ones, obviously. You can see there, look, quite clearly how there's been some misalignment in the past. Wasn't me. Didn't use these ones. Okay. So this one, I think, with them already being round. What the hell? That's okay. It's alright. It's the bench. Let's do this one first. There we go. Should be enough. So with these being round, I can just use a drill bit for these. So I think these are 10. Let's just double check. 10mm drill bit. Okay. So that one's obviously, as you can see, it's been hollowed out. That's been hollowed out. What we like down here? Yeah, they're actually more like a 10.5. Because we need to do them whatever the size. This is just for marking out purposes. It's still a bit loose, isn't it? Let's try an 11. That's better. That's a better fit for initial marking. So I'm just going to use the drill bit, and that'll find the centre. Because obviously the hole, and then just mark it a little bit, and then we'll go through with a 4 and build it up and copy it across the other one. I'm assuming that both of these will be the same. Assumptions, Andy. So just different ways of marking them out. That's quick, to be fair, without doing lots of measurements and things. And you can make mistakes with measurements, whereas with this kind of technique, you can't really go wrong. That's that one. Now you don't want to go through too far, so just a little bit, and hey presto, it's all marked up. So we'll go through now, probably not with a 4 actually, because a 4 can migrate around, because this actually isn't, with me an 11mm drill bit, it's not completely pointed at the bottom of this hole, it's a little bit flat, so you're better off using a larger drill bit. What have we got? What are you after, Mrs. Mechanic?
I'm just after a key so I can get Freddie out. Thanks.
Freddie? That's a bicycle, isn't it?
Yeah.
We don't a bicycle. We do engines here.
Bicycle ride.
A what ride?
Bicycle ride.
Oh, not for me. Have fun. I'm not on rescue mission, by the way.
Oh, I'm not going for a bit yet because he's still fixing, but I'm just getting my bike out ready.
Okay. All right. Bye. So yeah, I reckon we'll use, I don't know, what do you reckon? Let's have a look. 7? 6.5? What size is that one? That's a 7. That feels pretty good. So I'll go through with a 7. We'll do it on Priscilla. We'll go through a 7, we'll clamp the plates, and then we'll go through again with a 7 on the plate, and then we'll take them out to 10. 10 will be fine for these. 10. Woohoo! Good old Priscilla. Back in action, and he quite happily found the centre of that, so I feel pretty confident we're all going to be fine. And the good news is the 7mm drill bit's nice and sharp as well, so we'll make mincemeat in a 6mm plate. Now, just be aware you've got often there's a burr on the back, and that can cause it to. You can sometimes line that up with one of these slots, and that just helps to keep the plate flat on the pad. Remember when you're drilling, always just do a little bit and then pull your drill back out again, and that just cuts the swarf. Oh, you should never blow swarf, by the way. So I was told by my teacher. Always use a brush, Andrew, is what he said. Some things you do and some things you don't. Right, there we go. Sorry, Baz. Right. The late Basil. Not Basil Faulty. No, Basil from my metalwork teacher class. Very highly strung individual he was, to be fair, from what I remember. Okay, so the next job, I'm just going to whiz around there with a flat disc, get rid of the flap disc, get rid of the burrs, and then we can clamp up the other plate, and then we'll drill those holes. Right, chuck a bit of box section in there so we can do this efficiently. Now we're only marking it out for now. And way, there we go. That one. Way. That one. That's good. That's that one. Just a quick and dirty way of doing it, you know. Way. And that one. Okay. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of this. Don't need this anymore. You should always turn your drill off when you're not using it, Andy. Yeah, thanks, Dad. Is it going to reach? Yes. And then these will get drilled with a final a 10 or maybe, yeah, a 10 should be fine, maybe a 10.5. Give ourselves a bit of wiggle room. So you can see the burrs catching on there, on the back. So we'll line that up with a slot. There we go. Nice. And I should be using some of the forge, you know, cutting sort of compound that we put in there for drilling and stuff. Keeps the drill bits nice and sharp. But I've run out. What the hell? We've been doing so many holes, we've got none left. So we're going in dry. Ah! Jeez, that was hot. Right, okay, finish that off. One more. Un más, por favor. Okay. 10 mil. We'll do them 10. Let's try and be as accurate as we can, right? Okay, fork drill bit all the way from Germany. Good job. Bought loads of these when we were doing those footwell plates. That was our mission. Okay, so now I've turned the plate over. We're going to drill from the underside because it gets rid of the burrs at the same time. Just makes it a bit easier. Of course, we've got now a new burr to contend with. And it's a really nice little pillar drill, this. It really is. And I was given this one. So thank you very much, Ben's friend's dad. I don't know your name, forgotten. But it'll be well looked after and famous. Okay, it's that one done. Oh, done that one. There we go. That's one. Because I know you're asleep now. Good job, Priscilla. Don't blow your swarf, Andy. It can go in your eye. It can. Okay, we've got the other plate to do now. I'm going to keep the camera rolling and we'll just edit the crap out of it. How's that? Messing around. And it's very accurate as well. It's just nice and it's not over noisy. I'm just going to go around and just mark them all first, make sure they all look central. It's a lot easier to see when you... So you can see there on the camera, can't you? Nice and easy. Okay. You tell me. Not quite as sharp as the 7. That's one. Okay, next job, clean off the swarf at the back, clamp the two plates together, put the box section on, clamp it up, boom, through we go. And we're not going all the way through, we're just marking out. Do too much, you can sometimes risk moving the top plates against the bottom plate. You can also, oh my word, you can also do this in the vise as well. You can clamp it in the vise and use your hand grip. Wow, that was fast, Andy. Such a professional. Not really. Drilled a few holes in your time there. Right. I'd have preferred for these brackets to be at 10mm plate rather than 6, but I don't have any left because we've used it all up. So 6 it is, but I think it'll be fine because, you know, it's well supported and it's pushing straight on the box section, so it shouldn't be a problem. Okay, these need to be, we're doing these ones 8mm, not 12, not 10. And it's got a good chuck as well. All my other chucks were all worn out apart from the one that Simon Raw sent me. Thank you, Simon. But this one's a really good chuck, so try and look after it. Now you see there, look, we've got a lump of swarf and it's kicking the plate up, so this hole what we drilled directly straight through. That's weird. It's just been me now, so I'll clean that off now. There we go. All done. There we go. All finished. Get rid of the swarf. Nasty swarf. Our workshop is full of swarf at the moment. Right, so they're done 8. Their other one's done 10. I just need to do the countersink next. Oh yeah, you'll like this, won't you? Countersink. Woohoo! We're not taking loads of metal out, we're just deburring. Mrs. Mechanic is brilliant at this kind of stuff. She stands in front of this pillar drill and the other one over there for hours and hours and hours on end. Woohoo! Another job done. So that took me about half an hour, including the filming aspect, to make 4 plates. Not too bad, I don't think. But hey, another half an hour gone from today. So we need to make sure that they're going to fit before we weld them on. Very important. Much easier to fix now than once they're welded into place. The plates, the small plates, are for the big wheels, just to clarify. And let's check those first. I might even countersink these plates so we can use these ones, but we'll see. It's all extra time in it. Right, 1, 2, 3. Woohoo! Fits. Nice. Okay, now for small wheels with the big plates, just to be confusing. Can we hold it in the vise like that? We probably can, can't we? Okay, grab a plate. These are 10mm M10 bolts. Pretty sure these will be fine because, as you know, some of these holes have been hollowed out, we found as well, so job done. Next job is to weld the plates on. Now we're going to do the small plates for the big wheels, which go at the back of the engine stand, on the, you've seen the drawing, right? And then the small wheels with the big plates go on the end of the legs, the 2 legs that point forwards, that sort of, yeah, you know. Now, these will be directly onto the box, whereas the large plates, we have to have a spacer of 25mm. I don't know what to use yet. Although, that really thick steel that we got is about 24.5mm thick. Yeah, we're going to use some of that. Probably not, because it's a shit to cut, but hey, who knows? Let's go and work on the other end with the big wheels first, though. I've done some stuff. Okay, I've taken the upright off, I've removed other stuff, turned it upside down, and this is what we need to have a look at. Okie dokie, so we're going to be fitting some end plates just to blank off this box section, make it look tidy. So there'll be a weld line across here, so I didn't want to put the plate right against the edge. Looks a bit messy, not quite as professional as I want it. So we're going to set it back about 10 mil. That gives us room for the weld line across here. So I'm going to square that up, perpendicular to the box, centralise it, clamp it, and then weld it up. But before I do any of that, I've got to clean off the galv around this area to allow me to weld it. And I'll do the same on the other side. Okay, so we need, if I just draw where we need to clean up, and then I'll just clean about 1/2 inch either side of that line. That works pretty well. There we go. Right, said Fred. So we have the plate. Now I've rescored those lines, so we've got that already set up. We need to square it and centralize it. So squared. Oh, that's good enough for me. For now, we'll do a final check once it's clamped into place. How we're doing as regards centralized. So we are about 2.2 that way. And about 2.4, so you need to go about 1 millimetre that way. Let's try that. Still 2.4. Inaccurate measurements, Mr. Young. And a fraction more, I think. Just over 2.3. I think we were right before. Okay, that'll do. Let's just gingerly hold that on with the clamp. There we go. Are we still square? Yes, we are. That'll do, mate. Okay. Now, I intend to weld this on only along here and along here, and I'll put a little tack in between either side here, and that'll be enough. Plenty. Okay, you just stand back a little bit. Because I'm welding, right? Damages the camera. Right, the front casters, the ones that go on the legs, which are these ones. We've already made the plates. Good job, Andy, well done. But it's not enough. We have to have a 25mm spacer between that plate and the underside of the leg so that everything sits level. And I was sort of, is procrastination the right word? Trying to put something off. I was thinking, I must have some box section that's 25 by 25 kicking around somewhere. to use as a spacer. I haven't. I've got plenty of 30 by 30, but not 25 by 25. So I bit the bullet and I made 2 blocks. Look at that. Monster great things. Just to add a bit more weight to the whole thing. You know, it's good to keep the centre of gravity low, right? So we'll use those. We'll align the plates. We'll tack them in. And then I've got an extra special bit. I like to add extra special bits. I've got an extra special bit in the design to add to this bit as well. Just because, you know, I can. Here we go. Right, said Fred. So what we'll do is I'll weld the block to the plate and then the block to the leg. Then that way I don't have to do more welds over here. I can do some on the bench. So just as an approximate clean up area. Run around there. Run around there. Okay, so I need to clean up about 1/2 inch either side of that, well, 1/4 inch either side of that line. Wonderful. So close to getting these wheels on. Can't wait. And I can have a cigarette and a cup of coffee. Right, these blocks I've done about 40mm across to leave a little bit of a place to weld. Make it a bit tidier rather than flush with the outside. So the block needs to sit central to that. So these are 100 across, these are 40, which means approximately 30mm from the edge, which we are almost at now. Yeah, looks pretty good. Okay, I'm going to mark that up properly. I was just going to clamp it, but what the hell, we'll mark it properly. So we need a line at 30 and a line at 70. Do it from the straight edge, Andy. Do it from the straight side. Ooh, it's a bit wibbly wobbly, isn't it? Let's do another side. An extra line. What the hell? Right, so 30 and 70. Andy's going to have to go and sharpen his bloody scribe shortly. Okay. We really only need one line, don't we, actually? Thinking about it. Is that square? We can use this one. This one's better. Wow! That's a massive difference on me measuring. Okay, we'll split the difference. That'll do. For this job, it'll be fine. Don't worry, it's only a... You know, nobody will ever know, right? So we can line that one up with that line, weld it on. Same with this one. You don't need to watch me do this one. Right, so we'll just put a line there. Use a square, hope it's square. We'll eyeball it if it's not. Yeah, looks pretty good. There we go. Okay, second block is there. Right, I'm going to get these welded up. I'm going to weld, just so you know, and you'll see it a bit later on, I'm going to weld away from the nuts. So we might do a little bit up there, because there's enough room. We will do some in the middle, maybe 2 short bits like that, and then another bit down there off camera. And the same on the other side, on both of them. And then it'll look great. Just been watching some Matt's off-road. Excellent channel, Matt. Really enjoy watching your recoveries. Now, these are still pretty damn hot, but we'll get them into place. Here we go. Okay, Andy, you said you were going to do something special. What have you done special so far on these brackets? Nothing. But now we are. A while ago, we had hundreds of steel plates laser cut. And some of the cut-offs, the bits that they laser cut out of the plates, were little triangles. And I said to the lads, can you keep me these? Don't chuck them in your scrap bin. And the same goes for all the little circly bits as well. Because we had speed holes, which are cool because they go faster, right? So we're going to put some of these up the side from the base plate as like little gussets. It'll look cool and it'll make it super strong and a bit heavier. Sorry, Ben. Looks pretty square to me. Right, I'll tack it into place and then we're going to put another one just there. I've marked it 40mm from each end and I'll do the same on the other side of this bracket and then again on the other side, both sides of the other bracket. Super strong, looks pretty cool. Bit of a, you know, an extra bit, right? More industrial. That's the plan. Here we go. Okay, I know they weren't required, but they look pretty beefy, don't they? Quite happy with that. Did the welding on the outside to keep the splatter out of that centre crevasse. Make it a lot easier for Mrs. Mechanic to clean up. Should be happy. So these are still going to need very fuming in here because of all the galv. It's bad, actually. Be very careful when you're welding. Look at that. Weird, isn't it? When you're welding galv, it's very dangerous. Okay, so they're done. We'll let them cool, and then we can put the wheels on. So what's next? Back to, oh, look at me bench. So we're sort of doing okay. I've got about maybe 2.5 hours left today. Then I've got to call it a day. Tomorrow morning's a live stream, by the way. Holly will tell you all about it. Holly, over to you.
Now then, crew, Tall Girl Holly here. Don't miss the next live stream, 8:30 AM Sunday.
Thanks, Holly. Appreciate it. Okay, let's go and look at the list and tick off what we've done so far. Okay. Oh, I'm stuck. Oh, there we go. That's better. Right. I always seem to get stuck in that part of the workshop. Okay, so just gotta swap hands. Casters and brackets. Apart from bolting them on, they are. Oh, come back. They are done. Excellent stuff. First of all, I did that the other day. Timber decks does do. Locking mechanism of the disc does do. Final mounts the engine. Handles. What should we do next? Well, I think we should just, whilst we're cutting steel and stuff, we should do the blanking off of the box ends. So I'll do that while the other bits are cooling down. We still need to make them hot again, obviously. Anything else we can do? No. Oh, that's boring though, isn't it? I'll just do that off camera. You don't need to see me watch me block up ends and stuff. Locking mechanism for the disc. Number 4. Let's do that. That'll be fun. Right. The locking mechanism. So with an engine stand, you want to be able to lock the position of the engine because you're never going to get it quite on its centre of mass in a line with the rotational point. It's quite technical, wasn't it? The hub in this case. So you need something that's going to hold the engine in that particular place whilst you work on it. And it's important it's really held very well because you've got to torque up various bolts and nuts and stuff to very high torques in some cases. So you don't want the engine moving around. Okay? So the plan is and was to use the Nissan Patrol brake disc. This is scrap. It's been in the garden for a long time, so I'm not wasting anything. And it lives on the back of the hub, which we've got the bolts for. So I now need to refit this brake disc. And then we're going to mount a piece of thick angle iron to the side of the upright. We'll call it upright A, I think it's called on the diagram, which will basically just rub against the disc. It'll have a hole in it, and then we'll drill through the disc at 90-degree intervals, and then we can put either a bolt through there. I was going to put a spring-loaded locking mechanism, but I was talking to Ben this morning, and he says, look, if you use that, there's probably going to be a little bit of wiggle on the pin and the hole, and that will result in the engine rocking around a bit. And I went, that's clever lad. He says, maybe just use a nut and a bolt so you can just tighten it up. And I said, well, I can do that. That's a lot easier. So we're just going to do that. So we'll do that. Okie dokie. Right, I have fitted the disc. There it is, look, spinning around nicely. And I found this piece I've got some bigger angle, but it's buried right at the back of the workbench. It'll take me an hour to get it out, so I'm not doing that. So, the only force on this is just, the mismatch in weight. So I don't think it needs to be massively strong. Does it need to go right to the edge of the disc? It doesn't. So could we put it round that way? Would be enough disc? Yeah, I reckon there would be. Obviously you can put the hole a bit further up. So it can be mounted on there, it can be welded or bolted, whichever, bolted maybe, into the side of this. Doesn't need to be anywhere near as long as this, so I can cut it down. Maybe I can get a piece out of there between those holes would work, wouldn't it? So maybe about 70mm should be enough. We'll have just two bolts bolting it in. I can get inside to put the nuts on, which would be good. Well, my original plan was to stick it in the middle there, but it doesn't need to go there, does it? So it can come down to about here, will be fine. I don't want to stick it out the top with a hole, somewhere, come about the middle there, about there somewhere for the hole. And we'll have 2 mount holes onto this, something like that. Should work fine. I'll line up the holes so that they're something sensible. We also don't really need this bit here, do we? So we can cut that Do I put a radius on it? I could put a radius on it, couldn't I, to match the disc? So we'll chop that down. Where's my scriber? That'll do a better job. That's plenty scribed. And then we'll have the hole around here somewhere. We can put a bit of a radius on there as well, just to tidy it up. Should be nice. Maybe the same down these ones. Bit of a radius, make it look nice for him. Okay, let me get that knocked up and we'll see how it looks. Right, said Fred. So I decided to tap these because it's an 8mm thick wall on it. Doesn't need nuts on the inside. It's not like you take it on off all the time. So they're M8. Get those wound down. This will be the last job for today, this one. Now I've already drilled the disc in 4 strategic positions. I've taken into account the position of the steel plate relative to the disc. Oh jeez, lots of iron filings on there, weren't there? God. Workshop's a mess at the moment. There we go. Now, where's the bolt? Bear with me. There he is. So I've got a test bolt. M10. Oh yeah, look at that. That's 1. Are they all going to fit? 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Look at that. Very happy. We'll leave him in there for now. And I've done it very, very tight to the box section so that can be tightened up and it'll lock that disc in position. Can we do that now? Possibly. There, look. That's not going anywhere. Brilliant. 0 movement. I like it. Right, I've been told tea is at 7 PM sharp and I've got lots of packing up to do. And I'd like to assemble it and get the casters on. Ready for the live stream tomorrow. I got my work cut out. Okay, I'll see you in the morning. I'm back. It is Sunday morning after the live stream. And it was very cold last night. Now, I know some of you live in Arctic conditions, but for New Zealand, waking up at -1 and there's a thick frost and your car's covered in ice. It's pretty chilly for this area. Anyway, live stream is done. Thank you for those that joined in, and we had a good chat about EV cars and how bad they are and that kind of stuff. I didn't quite get the stand fully assembled for the live stream. I thought, no, I'll leave it in bits and we'll just talk about the bits. Don't want to do too many spoilers because, you know, I want you to watch these videos. Now, the next job is the wooden decking, the bit at the bottom that goes between the 2 legs. And I've got some nice hardwood planks that came off a pallet a long time ago. So I've got the planing machine all set up. Now, I've not bothered to rig up the extractor. That requires a lot more work and I haven't really got time. And I've only got a few planks to do, so I'm hoping it's not going to block up with bits of shavings and stuff from the planks. Hopefully we can get through it. So I'm going to plane off those planks, make sure that they're going to be good enough to use, and then we're going to have to find some angle iron and stuff to tack weld to the legs to accommodate these bits of wood. So, without further ado, let's get planing. the tubey bit off. It's a bit dangerous because, like, you know, if the blade broke, it would get me. But it got the job done. Not too bad. I think what I'll do now is I'm going to cut them to the right length and everything, and I might then put them through, because I found that one or two of them, where is it? One of them definitely is split, and it wouldn't, I don't know which one it is. It wouldn't actually, is it this one? No, I think it's this one. There you look, there it is. It's split, there look. So it wouldn't plane very well because it kept getting squashed and pushed outwards. So if I can use just the bit that's not split, or cut the plank down so it's just this width instead, then we'll be alright. It's nice wood though, really nice hardwood. Ben got me off a pallet years ago, and there's two more bits here, look, that I used at the end of the workshop for, you know, probably 5 years now. Probably the stuff in those boxes has been there 5 years. Jeez. Always wear safety glasses, especially when you do that kind of stuff. Okay, so what's the next bit? Well, I need to have a measure up and cut those, finish off with the timbers. I've done sort of the initial planing. I need to now cut them to the right length and the angles and everything to sit in. I've got to work out where they're going to go. I can't really set, I want them to sit dead level with the top of each of the two legs, so the legs act as part of the area. So if you put a drip tray in, and then you can pull the drip tray off the timber without it catching on the leg, because if it catches on the leg it's going to slosh, and then if you have any oil in it, which is the idea, then it might slosh over and go all over the floor. So you've got to think ahead, right? So it needs to be nice and flush. So I won't be able to work out where the position of the angle line will go until I've got the final thickness of the wood. It's complicated, isn't it? So maybe I can just clamp the angle iron on for now. That'll work. Get the wood to fit, do the final plane, then we know what thickness it is, and then we can set the position of the angle iron and weld it into place. We have a plan. Okay, let me get sorted out. Okay, 13.2 degrees. Remember this diagram from a few episodes ago? This is the angle that the legs are at from the main box. So we head over to the, I'll take the drawing with me, how's that? Here we go, this is what I've done. I've worked out, I have a plan. So I have set just some box section, clamped into place at roughly the thickness of the timber. So the timber now sits flush. However, the height of that box, we're not going to use box, but the height of that box is just temporary. Okay, now if we look here, 13.2 degrees, 13.2 degrees, right? What it is, 13.2, 13.2. So if I cut these all at 13.2 degrees, like I have done, it works out brilliantly, doesn't it? Okay, so where are we at? So we needed some spaces. I needed to work out, because this is all the wood I've got. I have no more wood, so I have to make this work. Now I know some of it's a bit scruffy. It's still got a final plane to do. So I found, I'm going to use these as spacers. So they go in there. Boom, boom, boom. As you can see, a couple of spacers. Now I can push that one up. I know where it goes. Boom. Boom, 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 away you go. Now obviously I understand there's potentially a compound error by doing it that way, but come on, it'd be alright for this job. I can always get a tape measure and just double check before I finally bolt them in, that's fine, but for the purposes of working out where these cuts are, I think we'll be alright. Okay, I found a box to go across the front edge between the legs. This is not for structural reasons, this is for if it crashes into something with an engine on. There's quite a lot of force, and I don't want the wood to crash into whatever it is because it might damage the wood. It's a bit brittle, this wood, it's very, very hard, so I'm just going to basically weld that in. Again, flush with the top, like that. So again, that'll need a 13.2 degree cut on it. Welded in, 13 degrees, whatever it is. Welded in, and then that'll give it a nice edge at the front. And again, there'll be a bit of a gap. Probably won't be the same as those gaps, but there'll be a bit of a gap between the box section and the timber. Like said Fred, got to choose the best bit of timber, and this timber's got a lot of cracks in it, but I reckon this area here will work best for this one. And I've been procrastinating over what timbers are going to go away. So we'll get the pencil. Right, we'll mark that. I need to mark the angle because I always get the angles wrong. Don't worry, it's going to get another cut. Another plane. We can mark all we like on this timber. It's not going to get in the way. Okay. It's going to go that way. Right, timber 2 to the cutter. Now I always cut a little bit big, and then we can always make it smaller if we need to. Yeah, very important not to undercut, otherwise we're going to run out of wood, aren't we? But no spare. Okie dokie. The lines are always on the wrong side. There we go. It's going to come that way. Will it fit? Only one way to find out. Oh, it's a bit short. There he is, cutting it a bit longer than he thought, and it doesn't actually. Well, it's as good as it's going to get. Okay, so we can now do the next one. Let's try and do that one a bit better. Remember, it's a scrap heap challenge project. It's all right. Very, very careful not to move the wood now. And then we can offer that one up. We've got a bad split over here. Can you see that? You can just. We've got a bad split there, so I can't. This wood's actually a lot better down that end, isn't it? So let's just do that. Let's pull it across. And do that. Okay, make it too big this time, Andy. Pull that out. Okay. Slightly oversize by a few mil. That's going to come in like that because we want that to be the top. T for top. Very important. And on this one, again, oversize. Very easy to cut it down, doesn't take a second, really, and that's going to go at that angle. Okay, wish me luck. I don't want to keep moving the angle around on the saw. I want to keep it set, so that's why I'm going to do it this way. Which you might think is silly, but believe me, it's not really silly. Jeez, what happened there? Okay, this is what it is. Right, that should be about right. Okay, it's probably going to be too big. I put clamps on this bit of wood so we can't knock it, because I want to get this right. Yes, too big. So I'll just keep trimming down the end, and eventually we'll end up just touching these and we'll be good to go. I should have done that, been a bit more conservative on my cut, so I did that one. It's about 1.5 mil too short, but hey, what's 1.5 mil between friends, right? Found a new blade for the cut-off saw. Mitre, what do you call it? I don't know what it is. I call it cut-off saw. About 10 mil, so a little bit more. It got so much better now. Look at that. It's not burning at all. Great. Oh yeah. I reckon that'll do the trick. We are, yeah, about there. Right, I need some more G-clamps. I'm going to clamp that one now and just work my way down, because I want to make sure I get it right. Okay, that one's going to go that way. Always give it a bit extra, Andy. Okay, and it's going to go that way. Nice. Man, that new blade that Ben got me is absolutely amazing. Really, really good. Now, like that. Okay, so that's where it needs to be. And it goes that way. Okay. I'm going to have to plane up the edges because they're really rough. And then we'll do a final cut, I think. Don't want to take too much off because we're going to run out of wood again. We really are on a bit of a wood budget, unfortunately. One more. Well, we'll start there. Yeah, we've got plenty to go at yet. So something like, something like that should work. As a good starting point, anyway. Oh, the blade must have been so blunt. I've never changed it. It's been the same blade from new. Okay, that's what we want. Okay, so we're about 5 mil, so not a lot. Bloody good. That'll do me, Gromit. Perfect. Now, I think that's a better top. It is. Okay. Right, let's come across this way a bit. Come on, pencil. Let's do it. Professional pencil. That looks good to me. Maybe even come a bit further, actually. That's pretty good. Okay, so with a bit extra handy. There we go. That'll go on there. That's going to go that way. It's going to go that way. Don't worry, it's going to get sanded and all sorts. And this is the top. Very important to mark your top. Okay, back in a second. That'll do nicely. Oh, yes. And then that will go about there. It's about the same gap in it. Near enough. Excellent. Oh man, look at the state of my workshop now. Bloody wood, honestly, makes such a mess. Okay, so where are we at? Well, we've got the final lengths done. I now need to do the final planing, just to tidy up these last bits. I know I've got enough wood now, as long as the planer doesn't destroy any. I can get that welded in, and then I can cut the angle iron that we're going to use on the underside to support these bits of timber. We're not going to use the box, I want to use angle iron. So I can cut those to length, and then we can set the height so that the timber, as you can see, is nice and flush as planned with the top of the box section legs. Very important. I think it's going to look alright, don't you? Okay, I've got lots of work to get on with and time is running out, so I'm going to crack on and get the planing done, the final planing, and I'll get the angle iron cut and get all that positioned up ready for welding, get that piece at the end, the bit of box section cut ready for welding, and then we'll do some more filming. In the meantime, Holly, you ready? Here's a word from Tall Girl Holly. Over to you, Holly. Boom!
Seriously, Andy? Still got that ponytail?
Okay, quick update for you. Angle iron is cut, both sides. It's all drilled out and marked where the timbers are going to be. That's along the top edge here. That's the centre point of each timber. And that's specific to each timber because they vary in width a little bit. Now, these dots along here represent the position of what's going to be a puddle weld. Because I don't want to put any welds on the top edge of the angle iron because obviously there's timbers going to sit on there and I'd have to bevel the timber and that kind of stuff. So another technique you can use is puddle welding. So I've drilled some holes in the back. These are all 10mm. I've got to clean that up. When this is in position, I can just puddle weld through here. That'll hold the angle iron on in position, and I can also put some welds down the bottom as well in various places. It won't be a continuous weld, obviously. It's not taking a lot of weight. Probably every 2 or 3 inches will be enough, maybe for an inch. So there you go. Cleaning up. So I've got to clean up that whole line down there. I've got to clean up all the dots, both sides, so that I can get these in the correct position and get them welded on. Woohoo! That'll do. Where's Ben when you need him? This thing's getting heavy. Millennium Falcon. No, it's X-Wing Fighter. How's that? And I'll do it slower for you. There you go. Done. That is not going to fall off at all. Would have probably preferred more than 3mm angle. It's all I have. 5mm would have been great. But hey, scrap heap challenge, right? So this is a bit hot. I need to leave it to cool down before I can put the wood back on and drill the holes for the wood. And then put the bolts in temporarily with non-nylocks, just normal nuts, so we can spin them off really quick. Be good to get it put on. You know, it's nice. It makes you feel that you're getting somewhere. Now, Benjamin and Mrs. Mechanic have gone on their e-bike, mountain bike thingies to, I don't know, burn some calories or something. It's alien to me. They said they'll be back for a late lunch. It's 4:45, people. It'll be an early tea at this rate. And I'm starving. Hurry up and get home. I hope we got a message.
We made it. Lake Taupo. So, honey, unfortunately it's taken us this long to get here.
What?
It's going to take us a lot longer to get back. Because it's all uphill. So we'll see you about 6 o'clock.
No. What the hell? Late lunch, they said. 6 o'clock before I get any food. I've only had a pie. That's all I've eaten today. That was pretty early on. What are they playing at? Oh well, let's carry on, I suppose. Getting heavier, this thing. Nice. I like that. Fast approaching the end of today now. So there you go. Look, the bolts are not tight. There's no point in tightening those up just yet. And I used countersinks, look, as you can see me doing the countersink in the drill. With Priscilla. And of course there's final sanding to do, and we might treat the wood with something so that the oil doesn't stain it. Hey, but it's an engine stand, right? You know, this is a bit OTT, Andy. But you know what? I like it. I really like it. The more I work on it, the more I like it. Right, I'm going to chuck it all back together. So it's all in one place, and that'll be the end of my day today. Lots of tidying up to do. Right, one final look around. I'm going to call it a day. We've got a few things to mark off on the list, and then I can finish packing up and go inside for my tea. Hopefully Mrs. Mechanic and Ben will be home in time to cook my tea, because there's no sign of them yet. It's just getting beyond the joke. It really is. There'll be a complaint going in. Okie dokie, she's back together. Partly for my own sake, because it's quite nice to see the progress. So wheels are on, castor mounts are all done, the timber's all done. Pivot's done, locking mechanism's done, and it can't fall backwards, by the way. I can just do that. And it just rests on that back. Oh, it's a lot of steel work, isn't it? It's pretty impressive. What else have we got? So we've got the locking mechanism. That's all done for the disc. We can undo the bolt. Did that yesterday. So you can see it's in the upright position now. And we get rid of the nut. So we can twizzle it 90 degrees. And give it a little jiggle. Yep, bolt's gone through. And then we can do the same thing in that position there, look, because there's another hole there, look, and the same in that. So it's got 4 different positions, which is great. I'm very happy. It's exactly what I wanted. The nut and the bolt system seems to work pretty well. Quite happy with that. And of course, you know, it gives it a second degree of security if something were to fail. You know, if the hub started to crack or whatever, at least it gives you something else that's going to slow things down a bit before it goes crashing to the ground. But anyway, I know you're not supposed to drill discs like that and stuff, but hey, it's for a different application. So, the list. It's got a few things to tick off, which will be good. So, the timber deck is done. Tick. Fantastic. Locking mechanism for the disc is done. Tick. Final mounts, engine, no, not that handle, not done the handle. Vertical box top cover, not done that. Blank off the ends, haven't done that, haven't done that, and haven't done that. Yeah, there's still a bit to do. But that was a big job. To make a nice job of it, it was a big job. Get all the gaps even. Had just enough timber that was any good, to be fair. And I wasn't originally planning to put a bar across this end. But hey, you know, it just makes it a bit more durable. That would be exposed. It was bound to get broken. I had planned originally to put 2 bolts in each plank, but I didn't have enough of those countersink bolts that were long enough. I've got like 4 left now. So just 1 it is. And it's plenty strong enough. I mean, remember, it's, you know, drip trays. They can put other stuff on it, but there's no steel supports under the timbers. It's just the timber, but it's hardwood. It's actually really strong, and it's well supported with the angle iron that we put in there. So, pretty good, actually. Very happy. So I was wrong. I thought we'd knock it out this weekend, and that'll be the last episode in building the engine stand. Clearly it's not. So, if you enjoyed this episode, episode 4, and you want to watch some more, why not click on the subscribe button, which is, I think it's on that side. I always get it wrong. Yes, it'll be on that side there, I'm sure. If it's not, it's on the other side. Honestly, after 10 years, I think I get it right. If you enjoyed it, click on subscribe, ring the bell. That'll turn on notifications, and our friends at YouTube will send you an email or a message or whatever it is when new videos hit the channel. And there's a lot more to come. Believe me, we've got loads more jobs to do yet. There's Mrs. Mechanic's working on a heap of workshop diaries. One's nearly finished, so that should be on the channel soon as well. Probably before this one, actually. You'll also find me on Facebook and Instagram, so you can follow me on there. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do that through Patreon and become a patron. And you can send through, a monthly donation, or you can do a one-off payment. And it does unlock various tiers on Patreon. You could also chuck some hard cash through on PayPal if you so desire. Use the email address andymechanic@live.co.uk. I'm not in the UK, I'm in New Zealand, but I keep my UK email address just to confuse people. You can also email me on that email as well. If you're going to send any money through on PayPal, don't send it as a donation, please. With PayPal, they've changed it. You've got to be a registered charity to receive, so it needs to go through as a payment. A couple of bucks, all helps. What else? Oh, if you want to support the channel in different ways, you can share this video or any of the other 900 videos on the channel on your social media and tell people why you thought it was a good video, and who knows, we might get a few more views. Okay, crew, that's about it. See you next time. Cheers. Over and out. And we get the flip up again.
Oh!
Oh,